Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Terri Morrow and I'm here with Catherine Haleko. Say hi, Catherine.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Catherine and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. This week we're continuing with our West Wing watch with a special documentary episode. And we're discussing the first 3 episodes of a odd but beloved by me show, John from Cincinnati, for our weekly challenge round. But first, we have a little special feature here. We had an opportunity to talk with a friend of the podcast about going to the Dancing with the Stars live tour. If you've ever wondered what that would be like, let's listen to this now and you will find out.
So our friend Sue is here, who is a listener and friend of the podcast.
We have a listener, Catherine. We're not just talking to ourselves.
And she is a Dancing with the Stars fan, like we are.
Yay.
And Sue got to go see the live show.
So jealous.
Yeah, so we want to hear about it. I know you went with your 2 daughters, and remind us how old they are.
My older daughter is almost 13, and the younger one is just 11.
Okay. And you're comfortable with them seeing the costumes that people wear on Dancing with the Stars?
Yes, because they usually close their eyes if it gets a little too much. They self-regulate what they see.
Have they ever seen PETA dance? No,
yeah.
She's actually been very decent since she's been a mom.
Yeah,
but there were some years there that, the 2 pieces of dental floss were very carefully placed.
Right. Yes. You don't need much of an imagination sometimes.
Right.
You do not.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about who did you get to see, and overall did it kind of feel like you were watching the show on TV, or was it very different?
It was a lot like the show in the regard that there was a lot of dialogue. So it kind of felt like they were dancing in your living room for you.
It was cool.
It was kind of very intimate, both in the venue and the way they acted, and also in some of the dances. Yeah. So that was...
No showering on stage, though.
No. There were no water effects. But I was surprised at the number of the big stars that were there from the cast, like Emma and Sasha, Sharna, Artem, Keo, Alan, Gleb, Lindsay, and then Britt and Haley.
Oh.
And found out from my daughter that Haley actually dates Derek Hoff. So that was, yeah.
That's some little intel that we did not know. Okay.
Leave it to the 11-year-old. And then the star during the month of July was Heather Morris.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't know why she was filling in for Rashad.
I think he had to go actually do football things.
Oh, that's right. He plays football. Yeah. So Heather did a really good job. I mean, it was
nice.
It was really a great show. I'm really glad that I took them. It was fun.
Fun. That's exciting. I would like to see her dance. I bet she would be good. I would not be upset by that.
Yeah. She was a good one to sub in. So they just have the 1 star, and it's usually the winner, the most recent winner that goes on the tour, right? Is that how it works?
I think so. I think so.
Unless they're busy playing football.
Right.
Oftentimes they announce who's going to be going on tour before they announce the winner. So it just happily ends up that way.
Look at that.
But theoretically, it might not be. It just always, so a lot of people get upset when that gets announced early.
Right.
Because it seems like you're crowning somebody. But
right.
Anyway.
So the dialogue that you were talking about, was it sort of setting up what the next dance was going to be, or were they talking about themselves, or what were they saying?
Well, there was a lot of setup for the next dance, and then there was just a lot of chit chat and some banter between them. And I think it was just maybe wasting or giving them some time to change costumes, take a break and that kind of thing. But I mean, it was a good variety of dances, both group dances, trios, duets, fast and slow, the stage presence and the choreography and just all of the effects were really good. So
nice.
Yeah. Sasha actually brought out the crab suit. So
oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. That was really fun.
He will never live that down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let me ask you, were people in the audience smiling and looking like they were enjoying themselves? Because so many times on the show, when they show people in the audience, they're all look like, possibly somebody put a gun to their head to get them into the studio. People were having a good time, right? It was enjoyable.
They were absolutely having a good time.
They should have filmed y'all, and then they could have got you in.
Use that during the season. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was funny because the women were going a little crazy because the guys took their shirts off a lot.
Uh-huh.
But the men that were there, like the husbands and the boyfriends, looked like they had been dragged in. Really, because, we went with a friend's parents went with us also, and they were sitting in another part of the theater.
Uh-huh.
So I think he really enjoyed it, but he's older, and I think they watch it together.
Uh-huh.
My husband could take it or leave it, so we left him home.
My husband would leave it as far away as he could.
Yeah.
He would get major husband points if he actually went to it with me.
Oh, we got chauffeured down, so
nice.
Off and picked up. So that was really nice. That was his contribution to the evening.
That was nice.
Cool. Now, where was this that you saw them?
We saw it at the Riverside Theater in Milwaukee, which is a beautiful old, like turn of the century theater. So it's a beautiful place to see something like this.
Yeah. I know when I've looked at the schedule, they seem to be at not the largest venues, maybe slightly older or smaller theaters.
Yeah, I don't think this would translate well into an arena type setting.
Uh-huh.
It was nice that you were able to be kind of close and...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you could see their facial expressions. You could, it was nice. It was good.
But not so close that when they whipped off the shirts, you got hit by sweat.
Exactly.
Not that close.
Yeah. We were not that close anyway.
Stay out of the first few rows. It's like at SeaWorld,
Yeah.
Splash zone.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. And America's national treasure, Tom Bergeron, was not there, right?
No, he was not.
I guess we have to let him do other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sasha kind of filled in that role.
Yeah.
And he did a really nice job. It was nice that their personalities seemed very genuine and like they really were enjoying themselves. And it's a lot like they are on the show. So they feel like real people. And they had posted some stuff on Instagram during the day. And then Sharna even said that she got to see the bronze fawns. So she was excited about that.
Oh, that's nice. A little local color.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Fun.
And Sue's going to give us some of her photos and videos too. So that we can see them and share
Excellent.
them. So
Yeah, they actually encouraged people to take photo and video and then post it and hashtag it.
Huh.
So
see, that's smart, versus like I was hearing some band recently. I can't remember who it was anymore, but they had a no cell phone policy at their concert.
Oh my.
Guys, come on. Like people might need to call a cab. I mean, I don't know.
Seem right. I don't know. I guess it's the difference
pretentious
between people who are like trying to sell product and people who are trying to get you to watch their show. Any promotion of Dancing with the Stars helps them get more eyeballs, I guess.
Right.
That's makes it more fun too.
Yeah,
makes it feel like you're all
share
in it together.
Yes.
And sharing this time.
That's like during the season when they have all those, they're on Facebook, right? The live videos.
Yes.
Like during the day on Monday.
Right.
And those are fun. Because they help you feel like you're behind the scenes, like you're part of the family.
Yeah, Annie Barrett does those. Those are good. So, are you looking forward to the next season?
Yes, absolutely.
Coming up soon.
Because now we feel like we know them. I mean,
that's right.
Gleb shared his big baby news with us like it was like it just happened. Well, this was a couple weeks ago, and the baby was born this week. So I don't think we were the first to know, but that's okay.
I was uncomfortable with all the sexy dancing Gleb does anyway, but then once I found out he has this pretty wife and like 2 kids now, 3 kids maybe, it makes it even more uncomfortable. Yeah. I don't want to see you showering on stage with any other girls. Cut it out.
Right.
Find another shtick.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a way to dance, nicely without to go over the edge with provocative moves. Because because
you got an 11-year-old watching, right?
Right. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Don't want to have to fast forward. Oh, we're fast forwarding for that dance. You don't need to see that, honey.
Here comes Gleb. But now they won't want to because now they know.
They know him.
This season, we always, record it and then watch it back so we can go through the commercials and go.
Right.
But this, it was like, oh boy, okay.
Well, growing up fast these days.
Yeah. Hey, it could be worse. Could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Yes, well, that is true.
But that's such a cool experience for them to, see some live performances and kind of make that connection between their TV show and, what it's like to go to see it. I mean, obviously they've seen productions before, but just kind of seeing it in a slightly different format, I think is cool.
Yeah. It's always cool to see somebody that you've seen on TV actually in person in front of you.
Yeah.
So were most of the dances things that had been on the show in the past, or were some things brand new for the tour?
I think all of the dances were new for the tour. I didn't...
Cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The only thing that was like a rehash was... Sasha and Emma, they showed, because they had like a big screen behind them, and they showed when Sasha and Emma got engaged.
Right.
And then Sasha and Emma did a dance, but I don't know if that was the same dance. But I think a lot of these numbers were new. They weren't. Wow. Yeah, it was very impressive. It was good.
Nice.
Yeah, that really is. I would have thought that they would fall back on the greatest hits and bring those out.
Recreating.
Yeah. Really just the crab.
That's great.
Well, I hope Sasha has moved up now permanently into the pro ranks and will no longer have to be the background crab.
Yes. I hope so. He's a very good dancer, and it's fun to watch how he interacts with Emma, and I think he's earned the right to hang up the crab.
Definitely. And hopefully maybe Alan is heading that direction too.
Yeah.
That's true.
Alan's pretty funny. He's was very popular with the ladies.
Yeah. He seems
that's cute.
He seems like a very cheerful guy.
Yeah, and there were points where it got a little creepy. Like the women on the 3rd or 4th class Point Zinfandel. But they were down on the main floor. We were up in the balcony, so it was okay.
Yikes! Yeah,
in the family section.
Yeah, AKA the cheap seats, right?
But you still felt like you could see things okay.
Yeah. It was great.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to us about this.
Thank you for allowing us to live vicariously through your very cool experience. And thanks again to Sue for talking to us. That was fun to hear what that was like. One day, I want to do that if I ever get out of my house, which will probably not happen. It seems like it would be really fun to see. And
I think so.
Also really fun to know that we have listeners who can speak and talk and respond. So if you have had an interesting entertainment experience and want to talk to us, please get in touch. Leave us a comment, will ya?
We're here.
We'd like to know you exist. Thank you. So now moving on from that, we watched an episode of West Wing as we do every week, but this week it was not a typical plot-driven West Wing episode. It was a special documentary episode that came in this sequence of episodes in the third season, and West Wing Weekly Podcast talked about it, and now we're going to talk about it too. It was less about the West Wing than I remembered it being. It was more about the glory of public service as illustrated by clips from the West Wing and quotes from people who have been there. Right. It was perfectly enjoyable. Still kind of a puff piece, but interesting. How did you like it, Catherine?
I enjoyed it too. You know, it was certainly self-congratulatory
it really was.
To both the show and, you know, the privilege of working in the West Wing. But I still found it interesting the way that they were able to connect real comments from real people, things that had happened to the show.
Yeah.
And it was fun to go back and see some of the clips that they aired. You know, I mean, if you like a show, then you kind of like the clip show.
That's right.
Because you get to revisit.
I have nothing against a clip show. And I thought it was interesting that the matches between quotes and scenes were really excellent. And I think in the podcast, the West Wing Weekly podcast, they interviewed the director, and the one who did the interviews. And I think he mentioned that they sort of designed the questions in such a way that they would elicit a quote that then they could illustrate, which is a really smart way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, so, but the stories that they got were genuine and interesting. It's not like they, you know, said, hey, say you did this, so then we could play the scene.
Right.
You know, they worked it out very well and very gracefully so that it seemed organic, even though sneakily it was not quite.
Right. I mean, the guy was a legitimate documentary filmmaker, and so he wasn't going to, you know, make stuff up. He was going to do it right. And I did think it was interesting that they approached him, the West Wing team approached him to do the documentary. And according to him, they said, we're going to do a documentary that's just real politicians and people in public service talking about their favorite episodes of the West Wing. And he said, that's dumb. Don't do it that way. Yeah. and he was right.
Yes.
Of course. I mean, obviously he's the one telling the story. He gets to look good, but but he certainly was right that his way where he linked the show to the comments of the people was much more interesting.
Yes. And did make the show look like it knows what it's talking about by showing that it's done similar things. Like, did you think it was stupid when Ainsley was in the closet? Ha! Here's somebody else who was in a closet.
Who was in a closet.
And did you think nobody actually works in the steam pipe trunk distribution venue? Here's somebody else who had a crummy office.
Here's someone else. Yeah, it was really, I mean, really is a strong word. It was, I did think it was entertaining and enjoyable to watch. So, yes.
Yeah.
And it was a nice compliment to have the director discussing it on the West Wing Weekly podcast.
That was very nice, yeah. And, you know,
it was like having a DVD commentary.
Definitely,
just after the fact.
Yeah. And this is like 3 3/4. Let's see, no, wait. This is the third season, so about 2 3/4 of the way. 2 3/4 seasons down. I guess they get to take a little victory lap, so that's okay. I wouldn't have wanted to have this in the first season. It would have been a little get over yourselves, but you know, they've been doing good work. So I thought it was amusing to know that this came to be because they wanted Aaron Sorkin to do another episode, and there was just like no human way that was going to happen. So that is maybe a little sign of things to come for next season and how long he lasts in it. But actually, he lasts the whole 4th season. But then that's it. So it was fine. You know, I don't feel like I have a ton to talk about. It was extremely well done. It looked beautiful. and whatever mechanics he did to get that to work, for the interviews to look as beautiful as the actual episodes.
Right.
Good job.
Yeah, he talked about how that they had to finagle that because they were shooting it on video and the show was shot on film, and it would look terrible if they were stuck next to each other, which I never thought about. That was another thing we learned.
Didn't think about it because they looked good. If it had looked crummy, you would have been able to say, well, that's not so nice. So,
and I just feel like there's such a specific way that the West Wing is lit, and the colors that they use and the style of it, that he's right that it would have been very jarring if it would have all of a sudden you skip to a videotape and it's like someone in a brightly lit studio, you know, talking about their past. So this worked better.
Yeah, it was nicely done, nicely cut together. Nice job hewing what I'm sure was tiny little tidbits out of huge amounts of interview footage. But
50 hours, I think he said.
I guess that's what documentarians do. Is very good. It seemed like they had a long time to put it together, which confused me a little bit because it seemed like the story was it was getting towards the end of the season and there was not enough time for him to write another one, so they did this thing that took like
3 months.
Yeah, I know. But so maybe it was the timeline may have been a little off there. They may have realized it was going to be a problem, and I don't know how long of a lead time they have on these, but Anyway, so that was enjoyable, and now we move back to our story with next week's episode.
That's right.
But first,
enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yes, that will be our episode next week, getting into the run of episodes up to the end of the season. So, which is not my favorite run of episodes, but Mark Harmon's coming. I like him. Evan Rachel Wood is in an episode. I like her. So there are a few things. And so our third segment today is our challenge round, as always. And this week I gave Catherine something that I thought might be a little more of a, forcing than a challenging, and making her watch something that was going to be unpleasant. But it seems like that did not happen, and she found it as enthralling as I do. We watched 3 episodes of John from Cincinnati, which was a series on HBO that ran for 10 episodes. It had the misfortune of debuting directly after the last episode of The Sopranos, which was divisive in its own way. And then after that comes on this surfing show that makes really not a whole lot of sense, but seems to be throwing a lot of weirdness right up there on your screen. I remember I had never really been able to leap on the train that was The Sopranos. I watched some episodes of it and I liked them, but whether I had something else going on Sunday nights or what, I never quite got with it. So when this was starting, I thought, I'm going to watch an HBO series. I'm going to sit down for the first episode. I'm going to watch every one of these episodes. And consequently, because I had no HBO baggage, I loved it. And it, from right the very beginning, I really liked it. And, but people who saw this as the follow-up to The Sopranos thought, what the heck is this? People who loved Deadwood, and this was by the same creative people as Deadwood, and was sort of accused of killing Deadwood because they wanted to move on to this. So there's a lot of bad baggage with that. So it was not beloved, and it died after 10 episodes. Zippy did not kiss it, and it did not come back. But while it was on our TVs, man, I thought it was pretty cool. It was one of those roller coaster ride shows where, when you get off it at the end, you're going to be right where you were. Your life is going to be no different. You will not have learned anything, but holy cow, while you are on it, you are going to be weightless. You are going to be upside down. You are going to be going faster than you thought you could ever go. And you just got to enjoy the ride. So how did you like your first 3 episodes of Ride? The first episode is pretty much the part of the roller coaster where it's chugging up. And then after that, it lets loose a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. I definitely found it a little strange, but I didn't think it was as super crazy weird as something like Lost or
yeah,
Twin Peaks or something.
Yeah.
Like I was able to kind of follow along, and I was interested in following along.
Good.
And like you said, especially when it got to the second episode, and you have the whole story of the young boy who is surfing and gets injured, and they think he's gonna die, and
he's pretty much brain dead.
Right.
And then
suddenly he's not anymore.
I guess we should say spoilers for like an old show that's been forgotten by most people, but
right.
If you want to go watch it and then come back. But yeah, so in the first episode, which is mostly kind of putting chess pieces on the chessboard,
right, setting things up,
there is this scene where Sean, the boy, is at his friend Bill's house, and Bill's bird appears to die, and Sean touches it and it comes back to life. And then you have this wonderful scene where Sean is lying brain dead in the hospital, and Bill, you got all these scenes of Bill, played by Ed O'Neill, chugging up the stairs, tapping his jacket, and then he walks.
And you think he's having a heart attack because he keeps putting his hand over his heart, and for some reason he's gone up the stairs instead of going in the elevator. I guess because he wants to be under the radar or something.
Maybe. I assumed that he seems to be a guy with some issues, and that maybe being in an elevator might be something he wouldn't want to do.
Yeah, could be.
Lots of reasons, I guess.
Right. So he finally gets into Sean's room, and then you find out that he's got the bird in his shirt pocket, and that's what was going on. And he gets Zippy to perform the same miracle on Sean that Sean performed on Zippy.
Yes. And suddenly, just the end of that second episode where he says, just to be stupid, give Sean a kiss, and he kind of looks away, and the bird does it, and Sean's eyes pop open. And that's so wonderful. And then he comes out of the room, then the beginning of the next episode, he comes out of the room and goes, Sean is much improved.
Right, much improved. This is a great line. Yeah.
Yeah, I really love that. And then that whole beginning of the next episode up through where they escape from the hospital, and they're running out of the hospital and screaming out of the garage, and at the same time Freddie and Palaka are distracting the reporters, and there's this music playing. It's just wonderful. I love that. And then of course it sinks like a stone as soon as we get to Mitch and Blondie in her car, and just I'm trying to remember if Mitch redeems himself at the end. I kind of think he does, but boy, in these opening episodes, he is
you just want to smack him all the time.
As kind of awful as Sissy is, he's worse. He's just so full of himself. Oh my gosh. Even the girl who's working a con on you cannot stand you. Just shut up. So, yeah.
And then, of course, there's John, who just has appeared, and for whatever reason, people are drawn to him, and they, like Butchie and Kai just seem to take him under their wing. And I mean, I don't know if you want to be under Butchie's wing because he's a heroin dealer or heroin user living in a Fleabag motel. But yeah, I mean, I know we're supposed to think of John as some sort of spiritual visitor or something, but especially in the first episode, I was just like, is he autistic? Like, because of the way he scripts, like he doesn't really, he very rarely says his own dialogue. He's only just repeating stuff that he's heard from other people. So, but you have to be you have to pay close attention because he does say some things, and they're important.
Yeah, and he starts more and more as the show goes along. He's taking these snippets and putting new meanings on them, which I just loved. It was so fascinating. But you know what? Where the show got me, and I was watching it again, I noticed it again. Every time I see that scene, it gives me a thrill. Right at the very beginning of the show, I thought it was like the third shot, but there's a bunch of shots before that. But it's basically, you see Link come to the beach, and he gets out of his car. Everything's deserted. He walks and he walks and he walks, and then he sees Mitch surfing from far off, and he keeps walking. Completely deserted area. And then you see a close-up of Link, and then you see a close-up of Mitch surfing, and then you see a close-up of Link again, and John is right behind him.
Right behind him, yeah.
And I went, whoa! So that's... I just love that. And that's your clue, I think, that even though for a while it's going to seem like he's, possibly an intellectually challenged individual, he's not. He's something. There's something.
Right.
Going on there. And then it becomes more and more apparent, certainly in the third episode, where he makes Guy see God, and it's this weird vision thing. And then, I like it that, this is a show that people accept unusual, miraculous things in sort of a downbeat way. It's like Mitch figures he has a brain tumor because he's floating. Right. And people don't when somebody else sees him floating, they should be going, oh my goodness, this is a thing. And they're just sort of like, well, that's kind of weird. But I did like at the end of the third episode that Butchie and the doctor sort of start comparing notes that something is going on here, and it's kind of wonderful. Right. And it's going to change everything. So, and it gets, certainly in the next 3 episodes, it gets more and more of that. But did you recognize the actor who plays Butchie from Cougar Town?
Oh, no.
Bobby Cobb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looked familiar for sure. And there's a lot of people in this. A lot of recognizable people. Sprawling kind of cast, and more people keep coming up.
They do. It's very heavy on, hey, it's that guy's.
Yes,
that's kind of delightful. I know. I seem to remember reading something where David Milch was saying that he wanted to cast people who were well known in other roles, and have them doing something completely different. So you have Luke Perry and
Ed O'Neill
and Rebecca De Mornay and. Then a lot of also, I guess a lot of Deadwood people in it as well. Okay. So, and more as the show goes along. And then, however, you also have the actor who plays Sean is probably, this is no surprise, but he's not an actor.
He's a surfer.
Surfer and a skateboarder. And I Googled him now to see if he's still skating and stuff. And wow, has he? He's not a cute little kid anymore. No. But, and also the actress who plays Kai is a surfer.
Okay.
And not a professional actress, although I think she does somewhat better. But, I'm okay with the surfer kid being kind of flat. That seems probably like that kid would be anyway.
Well, but, he's look at his home environment. Has been so good. Quite difficult. Do they ever say what happened to his mother?
Keep watching.
Okay.
Coming up. On John from Cincinnati. Yes, they do.
Because he's living with his grandparents because his dad is a deadbeat. But
that's our next set of 3 episodes. But,
okay.
I as much of a complete deadbeat and loser as Butchie appears to be, there's still kind of a sweetness about him that maybe, especially more as it goes on, that I love that performance. He's so good, and he does so much with body language and, kind of being in on himself and stuff. And even Rebecca De Mornay does a lot of shrieking. I still... a lot of her facial expressions and stuff. She's not had an easy life. You get the idea
absolutely
that
not.
as much as she has dished out, she has taken quite a lot. So, interesting things coming up with that. So, I was going to ask you when I was watching the scenes, so you didn't realize that Bill had the bird until he pulled him out of his pocket.
Right. I did not.
Because now having seen it before as he was coming up, every time he was patting the pocket, I knew why. But I can't remember when I first saw it if I did. That's just wonderful.
And I'm terrible at that kind of thing. I never figure that stuff out.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that you necessarily would. Unless you're thinking about the fact that, hey, we have already seen one creature be resurrected here. I wonder if... But you wouldn't necessarily think that the bird would be the vehicle of it.
Yeah.
And, the way it went, certainly we all have known instances where an animal seems to be dead and then is not. So,
yeah. And once he got the bird out of his pocket, I was like, oh, I see what you're doing here. But I did not figure that out.
Yeah, that's great. I love that, and I really enjoy Ed O'Neill's performance in this too. His character is kind of a lot of mannerisms and seems to be not holding it together particularly well. But I had only known him at this point from Married with Children.
Yeah.
So it was, he'd done a lot of things, but not things that I had seen. So I think he's wonderful. And also, more and more as it goes along, but Garrett Dillahunt, who just kind of starts as the doctor in the second episode, I really like the way he, what a thing this is for him, that this person who was dead, and he was pretty certain he was dead.
Oh, yeah.
Is alive, and kind of his delight as Sean is showing himself to be okay. Mm-hmm. I thought that there's a lot of different ways that character could go, and I like that direction and that performance.
Right.
So we have set up something fairly interesting in these first 3 episodes. And the next, what we had said we were going to do was I was going to challenge you to watch 3 episodes. If after that you thought, why did you make me watch this? I never want to watch this again. We would then find something else to watch for the next couple of episodes through Dancing with the Stars. And if you liked it, then we would make this our watch to last us to then. There's 7 more episodes. So I am getting the vibe that you would like to keep watching it.
Yeah, I'm curious now. Definitely.
Excellent. So very happy because I want to watch the whole thing again now. So I have an excuse. We got to watch it for the podcast, honey. So of the 7 episodes left, obviously we're going to have to divide it 3 and then 2 and then 2. So I think the thing to do is to watch the next 3 episodes because episode 6 is a barn burner.
Okay.
And it's the one, if you look up people talking about John from Cincinnati, that episode is the one that people are talking about.
Okay.
So it is elicited a couple of excellent Alan Sepinwall quotes that I will share next week. But so we will watch episodes 4, 5, and 6, which are his visit day 3, day 4, and day 5.
Okay.
And hold on to your hat for day 5. So, and after that, then we will watch 2 episodes a week. And then when that's done, it will be time for Dancing with the Stars. Yay.
Okay.
Which, well, I'm holding my yay until we find out who's going to be on it.
Yes.
So...
But Tom Bergeron will be on it.
Tom Bergeron will be on it. That is true. I just fear they are always trying to get somebody controversial, and I'm really not in the mood for controversial. Can we just have fun? Can we just have fun? Really, there's so much controversy. Can we just have fun?
Right.
But they don't listen to me. I do not have a pipeline to them. So we shall see with that. But anyway, for the next little bit, we will be watching both West Wing and John from Cincinnati. And next week, as we mentioned previously, we will be watching the West Wing episode, Enemies Foreign and Domestic, and episodes 4, 5, and 6 of John from Cincinnati. And we're not going to have a challenge round since we are watching those 3 episodes. So this will be our challenge. It's challenging enough. We will be challenged by these 3 episodes again. So anything else you want to say about anything, Catherine? Did I step on your lines anywhere?
No.
Do you want to say anything more about John?
No, I'm ready to see where it takes us next.
Yay. Hold on through the next 2 episodes until you get to... The next 2 episodes are fine. There are a lot of exposition and building. They're building again.
Right.
And then hoo boy. So... That's going to be it for our Round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes, including our daily speed rounds and weekly group chats. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Goodbye, Catherine.
Bye, Terri.
Goodbye, everybody.